Hello everybody, today I'm going to be shooting my £40 crossbow, and I've got a Daisy Red Rider sight on there, which is sort of an electric red dot sight which is designed for air rifles, but it's cheap to buy so it'll work well with this. I'm only just going to be using cheap carbon fibre bolts for it because they tend to be quite consistent with their accuracy, although some of them have damaged flight, so maybe that'll offset it a bit. I haven't done any crossbow shooting in a while, just simply because I've had a bad back for a while, and that seems to all be okay now, so I guess it's fine for me to use a crossbow. It's only a low draw weight one anyway. This was formerly the £120 sort of crossbow, either the Armex Commando, Mancun, whatever name it had. But like Jack Striker did, I've had this for a while with a lower power prod, just because I find this crossbow, being a short, sort of mostly plastic frame crossbows, better with a low power prod. I've done a few other crossbow conversions as well, where I have one set up with a £105 prod and a scope, others are sort of their stock power ratings. But anyway, let's go on to shooting this. The target I'm going to use when I switch to it is going to be the GSV Backyard Archer. It's a very good little target if you want sort of a lightweight carryable target for lower power bows, rather than, you know, the really high power compound crossbows. So I'll put the links in the description to that if you're interested. But let's get started. Right, I'm going to shoot from about 10 yards. I think it's shooting a bit high, so I'll put the red dot at the bottom of the target. Okay, so the first bolt ended up going really far to the right. Maybe that's because it doesn't have any flights on it, I don't know. Second one went exactly where I wanted it to. I was aiming the red dot about here and it went high. But again, exactly the area I wanted to. This one went right again, but not to a ridiculous amount. So we'll try another 3 shots from the same distance, aiming in the same place, and see what happens with them. Okay, so weird result this time. All the bolts actually had a much better group, but none of them went where I aimed it. So the bottom 2 are the closest bolts to where I was aiming, but I was ideally trying to get it between the eyes, sort of lower forehead area of the zombie. But sort of the only bolt that's gone roughly the right height is the top one, but it's gone too far to the right. So very weird grouping. I think part of the problem with crossbow bolts is just the flights. As soon as the flights get minor little sort of damage to them, they always end up going in weird directions. So what I'm going to do now is just try it from a bit closer range, so you can get a look at the red dot sight and everything on it, for the sort of quick draw type thing I designed it for. Well, as you can see here, all 3 bolts went in a pretty good group, despite the fact I was just very quickly shooting them once I got my eye on the target. Having a red dot on the crossbow is really good for that. I'll just actually see if I can show you on camera what the red dot looks like. Okay, so this is the red dot. I'll flick it to the on high mode and then maybe I can show it. Yeah, you should be able to see there, that's the red dot. How I've got it set up is so the red dot is exactly over the front sight, just a bit higher, so it's for a different distance. It's a very quick sort of reflex sight for using a £40 crossbow at close range if you wanted to. Great fun to use. The iron sights on this crossbow had snapped off a long time ago, so I just sort of finished removing them with a drill and then put this on the dovetail mount that was on the crossbow. So you can see, sort of, it's very quick to get a target picture when you can actually see the red dot. You just literally aim it, shoot the red dot, you know, and then it does it again. I'll fire one more quick group with this crossbow and then we'll sort of see how I did. Right, there you go. You can see the first bolt, which is the one without the flights as well, which might offset a bit more, went really high. The second two shots I aimed lower. I kind of aimed at the zombie's mouth area, so the bolts went higher, because the red dot isn't set up for the range I'm using it at. And yeah, although there's a bit of sort of left-right spread on them, maybe 1 or 2 inches, they both went into the forehead, which is where I was aiming for. So yeah, it works well with a red dot sight on it. Obviously, what you'd really need to do with one of these crossbows is, unlike me, put a new string on it, because mine's starting to get a bit worn out. Then what you'd have to do is obviously zero the red dot for the bolts you're using. I just use all sorts of bolts for my crossbows, so I'm not too fussy. So yeah, generally, obviously, if you set the red dot up for only one type of crossbow bolt, only use crossbow bolts where the flights are in ideal conditions, and, you know, made sure your string was all good, you had all the rail lubed up, you'd get much better groups than this. But this is good enough for what I want with this crossbow. This is just my £40 crossbow, so it's the fun crossbow. My more serious crossbows are obviously like the £105 one, where I have that set up with a scope for actual, you know, sort of without rule of law sort of scenario for it. So there you go. As I said, Daisy Red Rider sort of scope, or just a Daisy electronic red dot sight. Now you can get them for about £5 online. They're shock resistant because they're designed to work on air rifles. For a £5 red dot, it's very good. And then it's the GSV Backyard Archer target. So if you want to get one of those, the links will be in the description of the video, and I'll try and get some more crossbow videos done when the weather's good and I'm feeling up to doing them.